Alrighty, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us this Sunday on Stimulus Sundays. I am going to allow a little bit of time for individuals to enter the room, but I appreciate you all for being here with us today. Thank you for going ahead and entering your information in on the chat. Please say your name, say hello, hello from where you're from. So I love to see where individuals are tuning in from. It's always inspirational to see that we have a reach and other places outside of just our nucleus. So thank you all so much for being here. While we are waiting for individuals to come on, we'll give them just a few more minutes. Just some light housekeeping. This is Webinar Jam, fantastic platform to allows individuals to be able to do multiple things. They can raise their hand in order to ask questions. They can also press the speak button. So if you would like to actually speak your question as opposed to type your question, you have the opportunity to do that, which I love. It'll let us know that someone's raising their hand and we'll say, hey, such and such, you have a question, and you can go ahead and pose that. Otherwise, there's no need to turn off your speaker or camera. We can't see or hear you, so you're not being disruptive. And any other things? Oh, if you'd like to say who you are, leave your handle in the chat. I don't have any rules against that. I like to follow everyone. I'm a social media person, so add them on in there. So thank you all again for joining us for Stimulus Sunday. This is our second episode, and we are really focusing on the rebound, rebuilding, and refocusing for small businesses during this climate, which, of course, we've never seen a time in our nation's in our world like this, especially in our lifetime. And so this is a really interesting time, but we're here to offer hope and perspective to small business owners. And so I would like to take this time to welcome our expert co-host today, Dr. Reginald Parker. I call him a colleague of mine. He's definitely a friend of mine. We met each other not even a year ago, and energy it tracks each other. You know, you see somebody and the waves are just like, hey, I need to know you and I need to know you for a long time. So this is actually, what's so interesting about this is he reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I wonder if you remember, this wasn't so long ago, and you were like, hey, I see what you're doing, offering consultations to small business owners. That's really dope, but maybe you could have something that's larger and to be able to attract more individuals. So this Stimulus Sundays was actually his brainchild, so I have him to thank for us being here today. Thank you so much, Dr. Parker, for being here, and I just called you Reginald, but thank you so much for being here with us today, and I just really want you to take some time and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Dion. I'm Reggie Parker. So you can call me Reginald. Reggie, just don't call me late to an important event.
Right.
I'm the founder of Optimal Technology Solutions. We know it as Optimal Solar as our brand name. I have a heart for ending energy poverty. But what I really want to get into is looking at not only helping people here, but helping people elsewhere. And so I'm a helper kind of guy. And so I met Dion back in September.
Yeah.
And she just had a force about her. And I'm attracted to strong people. I like to see how either they can help me or I can help them or we can help each other. And that's what it ended up being, somebody who can help me help others. And so during COVID, at the early part of it, I started thinking, I said, I haven't talked to somebody and there's something noodling, and I just got on LinkedIn and I said, hey, let's talk. Want to catch up and see how you're doing. And I only did that to two people, you and a friend of mine out of Louisiana. Not trying to say I don't care about the rest of you guys.
Sure.
Well, sometimes when something's put on your mind, you follow your best mind. And we had a wonderful conversation. Yeah. And from here, she's going to be able to help hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands, millions. And that's how, I hope this goes. And, you guys that are on, I know that you're going to help others. And so I see one name that I recognize, Eunice Bonaparte. Thank you. I guess there's other people that I may not know right off the top of my mind, but she was one of the ones who
Yeah.
Yeah, she announced that she was coming, so I was like, yay.
Awesome.
Um, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that you gave a reference of rebound, rebrand, rebuild, refocus as this particular conversation, and I'm just happy to jump in and share some of
Yeah,
my thoughts,
absolutely.
answer questions, and bounce off of you, Dion. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I want to make sure that we're very clear now that we have quite a few individuals on. This is a question and answer time. So anytime that you have a question, again, please leave it in the comment section, or you can raise your hand. There's a speak button there. We will call on you. It'll allow us to see that you raised your hand and you can ask your question. So I really want to start out this conversation with a question that was posed earlier today on Twitter. And it was a photographer who is looking to she's been in business for many, many years. And she's just, of course, hit a complete standstill. And she's wanting to get back into business. And the question is really, how do you do this? You know what I mean? Like, she had some employees, she's had to terminate them. I personally, I've had my staff has been furloughed because all of my contracts, 100% of my current contracts and everything that was in my pipeline came to a screeching halt mid-March. And it's been hard. It's been devastating. Unfortunately, I've been in situations like this before. If you've been in business since 08, you've experienced some things like this before. But her question really resonated with me because she doesn't know what to do. She's like, I'm a 5-year-old business. I had 2 staff. Those staff are no longer, working with me. I want to be able to bring those staff back, but I don't know. I don't really know how or when. And she's just looking for some ideas, on when do you bring staff back to work, which I feel like is a huge because I don't think there is a right answer. You know what I mean? And so I want to talk about the PP3 today, or PPP, or the payroll protection program or plan, and how that works. But I really want to be able to speak directly to her question. And I think that that's something that's going to kind of be a thing throughout our conversation today is, when do you do this reintroducing individuals back to your workforce?
So I'm gonna give you some thoughts on it. Then I'll give you an analogy, and then I'll give you some pithy statements.
Yeah.
First thing is flattening the curve, right? Because this whole thing is not dictated by us; it's being dictated by the virus.
Right. Right. Right.
And this is a pool, right? We're all in this pool, and so there's no sections of the pool where you can do whatever you want on, and it will not affect the rest of the pool.
So true. Yeah.
We're all in this together, and so the curve is starting to flatten. Models said that it started somewhere around Wednesday. So that means that it's going up, is here, and now it's going to go down. That means it's going to take us a little while to get out of the woods.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's over. There may be a second resurgence, but this is an opportunity for change.
Yeah.
And understanding how this plays out on a macro environment and where you fit in is really what it's about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I give you the so the win is actually paying attention to where you are locally. So there are some folks in the next 2 to 3 weeks where they're going to start relaxing the social distancing strategy. Some people will be the middle of May. Some people it won't be until June. And there's a 3-step phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 in terms of the relaxing of social distancing. The first people are going to be, the more quote unquote necessary people, all the way to folks that are essential for life, but not necessary for work. I'm sorry to say it like that, but those are not my terms. This is just how they think about it. So having that said, the first thing I want you to know is your core is what you are in business for. Right? So understanding what core is, the best analogy I have is that my wife, she went over a major operation in her tummy, and how long, the doctor says, how long it will take you to be back walking around like normal is based on how strong your core was before.
Oh, I like that. That's a really strong analogy. I've had a tummy surgery before, and my core wasn't very strong. It took the doctor said 6 to 8 weeks, and that was not the case. It took more like 12 to 14. But it's the same analogy in business. How strong is your core?
Mm-hmm.
That's how soon you're going to be able to get back to work.
So my wife, she had run marathons and things of that nature, so she was actually able to beat that. So that's the first one. Your core is what you're in business for. So what is your core? What are you? What makes you different than others? What do you rely on to get this done? And the two people that you were hiring or hired were people who amplified your core, right? And that's the second
Mm,
one. You have to explore your core, right?
right.
So, and the business is more than you as the core. When you hire other people, your core gets illuminated, it gets expanded. And so you have
Right.
to explore that, are you capable of expanding the core that you have given what's going on in the macro environment? And the
Mm.
third one is following from that, you are more than your core.
Huh. Wow.
And that's sometimes you have to think about, all right, this is what I usually do, but it's an opportunity to change, to use this in a different way.
I like
Um,
that.
I'm reminded about this company who was doing not distant ed, but just doing online things. This
Mhm.
happened and they opened it up for schools.
Yeah. Yeah. Easily.
They use their online activities for schools because that's what their core could do, but they were just used to doing it one way, and that one way shriveled up. And for them to stay alive, they open it up for another way, and
Mhm.
their business is continuing.
Yeah.
For us, we were building large, solar farms. Now we're aiming our solar facilities at hotels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hotels need to reduce their costs because their revenue's going down. And because I am more than my core, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going that way to help people, and that's helping us. So,
That's
so
interesting.
those are the pithy statements. That was the analogy. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand. Look, for a photographer, you there are some sessions you can do, and people are going to want to take pictures for for certain family events. You have a baby, you need to take pictures of babies. People are
Right.
always going to want to take pictures of babies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how can you set up a situation where you're able to take pictures of babies during COVID-19?
Mm-hmm.
There are people who are graduating in a month or two. They're still going to want those graduation pictures. How
Yeah.
can you set it up in the COVID, what have you, going and taking those pictures?
Yeah.
There's a lot of areas for opportunity and change, and I'm just using this business as a thought process. How can you do it? Understanding COVID-19.
Yeah. Yeah. And how soon are we going to get back to normal as well? You know what I mean? As a photographer, videographer, how soon are you going to be able to do exactly the way that you were doing it before? You know what I mean? So now it's just time to get creative. Start really honing in on another way to still keep that distance and all of those things, because I don't know how soon we're going to want to be touching individuals and styling hair and all those things. And I've had a lot of individuals ask me that are hairstylists, you know what I mean? What am I going to do? My acupuncturist is like, when are people going to come back? I mean, these are all really good questions. And I feel like we as individuals have to feel secure, about the truth that we're being told and all of those things. But at the same time, we just can't live with the spirit of fear as well. You know what I mean? And that's something that I truly, truly believe, that we have to trust and believe that this is going to pass. This is not going to be forever. And I'm so thankful I did not hear those statistics about this curve being flattened. This week, I feel encouraged by that, because we're going to get through it. It's just a matter of when. David asked, he said he's in.
Oh, no, before we dive down, you said something that was really good of getting back to normal. In 1995, when the phone rang, there was, actually, let's say 85, there was one phone in the house. And
Mhm.
that was usually in the kitchen, and they had a super long line, and you had to talk on it and hide, like in the bathroom, if you wanted to have a private conversation. And now where everybody has a phone, my 6-year-old think he's going to get a phone, and that's not going to happen. I'm old school. But the thing is, I'm in a new normal.
Mm-hmm.
Things are not going back the way they used to be. It just won't. We're going to expect something different from our vendors, from our, as a customer. We're going to have a higher level of expectation. We're not going to want somebody to stand right behind our neck, and we're going to want them to give us a distance. We're going to give people distance. So as a photographer, and in this example, you're going to have to think about, how do you adjust your business protocols to make your customers feel comfortable, given what they have just learned?
Yeah, I love that. Because one thing that I always, even in consultations, which we still do quite a bit of consultations, I tell individuals, don't act like there's nothing happening. I feel like it could do the most harm. Everyone wants to act like everything's fine. We're doing just fine. Everything's okay. It's not okay. No one's okay. I love us being in a swimming pool. We're all in the swimming pool together. We're doing mixed bathing and everybody's got it. And we're not okay. And the thing is that when businesses are willing to say, this is not a normal time for us. You know what I mean? We're not at our very best. We're at where we're going to be able to be. Acknowledging that, and saying those things are just helpful. It's comforting to not think that I don't believe it. It's just not, people aren't really getting sick. People aren't truly dying. Just admitting. And this is where I know this is where we are is as a business, as a country, as a world, and it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it. I like that. So David, I wanted to get to your question. David is a new business owner who has just started in 2020. I feel like I've lost my focus. What should I do during this time to keep up my momentum? Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so I put together in anticipation of David's question. I was thinking, I said, this journey as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, is a marathon. Right? And there's 5 things I want you to think about, and then I'll bless this out a little bit more.
Okay.
One is a strategy statement. Plan your demand. Right? And the thing is that if you're going to sell something, if you're going to push it out in the market, you have to have as much understanding about the environment so that you can plan what you're going to be selling. Right? So you said you lost focus, so that means you got to step back and look at what's going on and how you can push what you're doing through better. So first, plan your demand. Second is, now that you have your strategy in place, you got to go into marketing. And to compete is to beat.
Say that one more time.
To compete is to beat.
I love that.
And if you're going to compete, you're going to beat people on 3 different ways. Either you're better, you're cheaper, or you're different.
Yeah.
Better, cheaper, or different. So as you build your strategy of what you're going to deliver, how do you differentiate yourself from everybody so that you can hit the market that you're going after? So this is a way of refocusing, right?
Yeah.
Third thing is, you got to look at how, finances. You got to look at your pot of money and understand how much it's being spent. So you got to pace your race.
I love it. Yeah, pace
so since you know how far you need to go, how much energy you have, you know how long it's going to take you to get there.
Yeah.
And if you have spent out all of your energy before you get to the end of the race, you have not. It has nothing to do with winning or losing. You can't finish that race.
Yeah, you can't. You're not
trying to win the restaurant race. You're trying to win your restaurant race. You're trying to get people to come to your shop. If everybody came to your shop, it'll be.
Yeah, it'd be great.
You have to size the opportunity. That's the plan and the demand to what you have. And the 4th thing is secure your dream team. And that goes back to the photographer in terms of understanding your core and exploring it and getting it to be more. So once you have those finances, you have to plan in those finances how much you're going to need for that. Now, your dream team may be a team of one.
Right. That's
Right?
something. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a team of two, sometimes a team of 100. But you have to understand what that is,
Mm-hmm.
what those needs are. Sometimes a team is not a W-2, they're a 1099 or a JV.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To go after the hotels, I entered a joint venture with a major hotelier who gives me over 1,000 hotels to build solar systems on.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I mean, that's a dream team. I don't have to go knock on one hotel door. I'm
Mm-hmm.
told this hotel is ready. Okay, let me go build.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, so COVID is either your practice
Mm-hmm.
or you are already in this race. Regardless, um, you're in a race because you're qualified.
Yeah.
You can't show up the day of the race and say, I want to race. No, you've already had the sign in, you got your badge, you showed up earlier, and you're ready to race. You are in a race that you're qualified for, that you're registered for, you're in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So only the qualified folks can enter the race,
I
um,
love that.
and you're ready to run. This
Yeah.
is your unique opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Losing focus is sometimes losing heart, not necessarily knowing what the end is. As you get scared, it's okay to be scared.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell that to other entrepreneurs. I tell it to my kids. I said, fear is natural. Daddy gets scared, but he works past his scaredness to accomplish the task. And that's what bravery is. Now,
Mm-hmm.
David, I know you already know this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just reminding you of the things that you know.
Yeah. I love that. Last week we had a question about being scared to start a business. And they were like, when does that feeling go away? And I'm like, never. Every time you are out for something new and it's big, if it's big and it's worth it, you should be afraid. It should do something inside of you that makes you be like, whew, this is about to be amazing. You know what I mean? It may not resonate as fear, but fear feels different to everyone. You know what I mean? And whenever it's meant to be, whenever it's your purpose, it should feel like I'm about to step into something new and I know I'm equipped to do it, but man, it gives me the butterflies to do it. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Fear has three responses:
Mm.
flight, freeze, or fight.
Or fight. Yes, it does. Hmm.
If you are not trained to fight, you're going to mess up and do one of the other two.
Yeah.
So, since fight is what you want to do, you got to
Mhm.
train to do it.
Yeah, I love that. And that would probably be my advice to David is that this is the time to fight. You are a new business owner. This could have not happened at a better time, a worse time, honestly. I mean, but this is the time that you're going to need to fight because you're going to be the strong business owner that's not going to be shaken out. You're not going to be the dirt that shakes away from the roots. You're going to hold on because you can see now I've been able to utilize this time to do webinars. You're here. You're here with us. You're doing webinars. I'm sure you're reading. You're going to be prepared to come out of this stronger and better than you were whenever you thought you were ready to jump into a business. I remember whenever I decided to start Joint Effort, and I have a fear. My fear meter is always off. It malfunctioned a long time ago. So I'm always like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to because I can, and I believe I can. So therefore, it's going to be fantastic. And I really think that in my mind it's kind of weird, but every once in a while there is that time where you come to a complete standstill like we are right now, and it's not your fault. It's not anything that you could have done differently. It's not anything that anyone could have expected. And this is where your character is built. The moment that you're down, this is when character is built, because anybody can show and be showy whenever everything is going well, but what you do now is what is going to really build who you are going to be as a business owner coming out of this. So take this time as a gift. I have seen, I have, of course, whenever this happened, I was just devastated, as every small business owner was. But I've taken this as a gift, and I'm not even ready for it to be over. I hate to say that, but I've enjoyed this time to refocus so much. I've read, I've worked out, I've done webinars, I've started this webinar, I've refocused on some of the things that I've set to the side that I really needed to pull off and shake off. This is the time to do it. And, for anybody that is on this line today. If you don't do that, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people are like, you should have 5 books read by the end of this COVID, yeah, or you could just have a whole bunch of Netflix, watch. That's okay too. Everyone is different, but take this time, if you can, to just find that center, strengthen that core. I love that analogy. Strengthen that core, because you're going to need it to fight. Because everybody, this is about, you heard of rat race. This is about to be a real rat race. Done. Because everybody's going to be trying to claw at whatever the finish line is, the starting line, even, you know what I mean? To get back out in front, to be the first, to do all those things. They're going to be right there. A restaurant, I had a consultation last week with a restaurant that was not able to do curbside, or didn't feel like they were in a position to do curbside or to go pick up. And they're anxious about what's going to happen after this. Could you speak to that for individuals who are in hospitality? I know that you work in hotels, but anybody that's in hospitality coming out of this is going to be, definitely difficult on how you either pivot from being closed, or you start identifying like these core individuals. They were like, should we start doing promotions? Should we start doing these things? And all I heard was just money being flooded into to trying to be the big neon sign. What would you say to those restaurateurs that are trying to get back into the business?
I usually don't go out. My wife does most of the going out, but yesterday she said, "Hun, go out and get us some lunch."
Mm-hmm.
And so what that means is, I want you to go pick up something I want you to go get.
Yes,
I didn't have the leisure to just go get whatever.
You've been married for a while, huh, Reggie?
So I went by Chipotle,
Uh-huh.
and they could only have 10 people in the restaurant at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And there were spots on the floor
Mm-hmm.
where you had to stay for social distancing.
Right.
And if more than 10 people came in a restaurant, they walked you out and said, you got to wait outside.
Yeah.
So the thing is that Chipotle has started through about how to stay in business, because they had to drive through, but they also thought it through as to what could be done in the store.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So just because you're a restaurant doesn't mean that you can't bring people in, have them order, get their food, and have a way of coming right back out and manage social distancing.
Yeah. But just staying on top of it and thinking ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Like, there were so many places, went to Target, they have the same thing. You put your stuff on the conveyor belt, they ask you, please stand on that red circle right over there, because they don't want you standing. What are you going to say?
Instacart, or a similar type of Go, whatever, Uber Eats and this, that, and the other. Those type of branded partnerships where you don't have to already spend money, they're already there. Are great ways of pushing your product.
Of pushing that product, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Right now, your restaurant may not be where people pick your product up from, but that still doesn't mean that's not where you cook.
Right, that's true. Yeah. Food trucks are actually surviving right now. They're thriving, I should say, because individuals are saying, yes, they cook their food somewhere else. They're able to bring it here. I'm still able to definitely be socially distant from individuals when I pick up my food, and I'm still, able to have something other than home cooked food. You know what I mean? We're spoiled. We eat out a lot, as not just me, and I am spoiled about that because I at least go out every once in a while. But as Americans, we are consumers, you know what I mean, of a lot of different things. I went to Sam's this morning and had to stand outside. They have, only 10 people in per 1,000 square feet, and one person out, the next in. And so it's finding what that curve is going to be, really looking at industry trends. I always tell small restaurateurs to look at big chain companies for some of your answers. We don't have to make these things up. They pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars to do their marketing during this time. I've noticed that Olive Garden and Red Lobster haven't ran a single commercial, not one. But because this is not the time for them to run commercials. This is the time for them to say, you all know what we can do. You're going to come here. You're going to get your soup, your salad, your fettuccine Alfredo. It's going to be hot. It's going to be fresh. I'm going to meet you at the curb. We're going to be able to always give it to you. But they've always been able to do curbside pickup and to go thing. You know what I mean? That was what they were really known for. And so follow those trends, see what they're doing. Keep your eye on the bigger business. You don't want to be them. You want to be who you are, but utilize their talent, gifts and talents inside to work in your favor. It's always the best thing. I love that someone said, I saw that someone said, Reggie, have you written this book? David, have you written this book yet? That is some knowledge, bro. I mean, that really was fantastic. Giving us those 4 points on marketing your business and really staying focused is amazing. I want to really kind of wrap our conversation up with the PPP program. I know we've spoke. Yes, sir.
Well, Dr. Nichols talked about uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
He said that is the thing that kind of bothers either him or people.
Mm-hmm.
When I did strategy consulting for the Boston Consulting Group, we used to say that we used to chart a course through the fog.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that uncertainty, yes, that exists, but uncertainty is not 100%.
Yeah.
See, uncertainty is how much is left over off of what you know is certain. And what a lot of people tend to do is look at what they don't know versus what they do. And in strategy consulting, we looked at the facts of the things that we didn't know, that we could control, that we could build strategy off of.
Right.
Then the next thing is how can you now structure the future to reduce uncertainty so that the certainty increases your reality?
Wow. I wish you could just repeat it just like you did. That was amazing.
So it was 1999 and we were looking into 2000. All we knew is that people did not like traveling as nicely as they did. And so we interviewed a whole bunch of people. We call it the B2C reboot for the travel industry. And this was a major client. And we came out with, hey, why don't we use kiosks? Why don't we use TVs? Why don't we send information to phones? And we plotted 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G back in 1999. Wow. No, we didn't know everything that was going to happen. All we knew was what we knew. And we were able to then create some realities for business opportunities as they happen. So one of the things is when you walked out of the airplane, you looked up, you could see where you needed to go. We created the kiosk to get your tickets. We created the strategy for those things.
Right.
The airlines actually ended up doing it. We created the strategy for sending you notices when the thing would change, weather delays, this, that, and the other. This was done in 1999.
Wow. That's amazing.
So there was a lot of uncertainty, but there was enough certainty where you could develop a strategy which created your reality. You remember the thing for plan your demand? That's what I meant. You got to look at how can you create something off of what you know, and how do you make what you know what everybody should know, so that you can continue the growth of your business.
Yeah, I love that. And because these are uncertain times, you know what I mean? We don't know. But make your strategic plans off of what you do know. People are going to buy again. What you do know, as people, this is not going to last forever. What you do know is that individuals want your services, and that's why you opened your business. Those are the things that you know. So how are you going to then plan around that? I love that. That's speaking to me even as a small business owner. And getting back to business is going to be hard. It's going to have to be highly strategic, because we have some clients that have just put us on pause, and some I don't even feel like are going to come back. I've already, gotten some questions from my attorneys about contracts that are like, well, they may want to, come out of it early or buy out of it early. It's uncertain. We don't know. But what we do know is that 100% are not going to just jump back on board, so that we know for sure. You know what I mean? So take what is uncertain and use the things that you do know.
Here are the first people who are going to come back. Here are the people who need to see that the first people come back to come back. So those are our second one. And others, they may not come back until these things are true. So when these things come true, I got a tickler to send them an email. You got to know how to bother the people who need bothering.
It's true. That is so true. That is so true. So I want to wrap up our conversation with some of your ideas on the PP3, or I keep calling it PP3. That's not the name. The payroll protection plan, or the triple P, whatever you like to call it. A lot of small businesses are looking at the payroll protection plan as an option. There's some that have used their stimulus dollars that they're offering businesses. Some employees are filing unemployment and the like. Financially, what do you think that we need to know or to do, or what suggestions would you offer to be able to prepare to position us better, no matter what financial opportunities are out there, which ones that we take advantage of?
Two things. First, EIDL and PPP are out of money.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
If you hadn't applied, there's not much you can do about that for this phase. They're right now looking at a whole nother stimulus plan, and this one is actually bigger than the last. I mean, they're thinking about giving people $2,000 a month for at least 6 months if you make less than $130,000 per person, or $260,000 for a family.
Yeah, I heard that.
And so the Treasury's, the Treasury Secretary and the Democrats are negotiating points on this. There are other pieces of the bill for the hospitality industry, like hotels. They're thinking about giving them 9 months. What do you call it? A hiatus on their mortgage. There's a lot of things like that that's going on, because this will may erase 10 years of job growth.
Wow.
Right? So that's something we know. It may erase, right? So even Congress is designing strategies based on what they know. Right? And they know that if they put money into people's hands, people are going to start to spend. And then when businesses get money, they can buy other things, and that's going to slowly start it up. And that's the reason they're stimulating. If we understand that people are trying to stimulate the economy, you got to figure out whether or not you're at the first part of the stimulus, or the second part, or the third. Are you the person who gets a check, who then spends it? Or are you the person that once they spend it, they're spending it on you? Or are you the person that they then spend it on? You figure out where you are in that cycle and make sure that you're there.
Make sure you're present. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Not getting all religious or what have you, but it was this guy named Elijah. If he wasn't at the brook where he was supposed to be, he wouldn't have got the manna he was supposed to get. So there's a biblical story that says you need to be where you need to be.
Yeah, I love that.
You said something, and I want to highlight two things. Without calling this friend's name, his mom was found on the floor about 2 weeks ago. He lived upstate. She lived in downtown New York. She lived in, I think it was the Bronx. And he was calling her, couldn't get her. And then all of a sudden, he sent his aunt over, and they busted down the door and found her. She was positive for COVID. She's now on the mend, right? The bottom line is that you got to love up on your loved ones. This time has given us that precious capability of doing that. Whether or not picking up a phone and say, hey, pops, hey, moms, hey, auntie, what have you. Because I am the way that I am, I did all kinds of calculations and understood when everything was going to break off and what have you. So I went to Dallas, Texas. I visited my aunt. A week and a half, she passed of pancreatic cancer. I got to see her.
You got to see her. Yeah.
So there's some things that we need to do. We need to love up on our loved ones, And this was somebody we both know,
Oh,
Dion and
wow.
Anna Efu, who
Mhm.
started iCovidMD.com.
Mhm.
She's out there pushing, helping people get free checks. So, I would like to applaud her for that. She's
Absolutely.
um, and we need to get behind the people who are doing things like that. And if you're doing things, let us know. We'll
Please.
promote you as well.
Absolutely. If you're doing anything to be able to help others, we will promote you. That's why, and it's so interesting. Reggie came to me when he this idea and was like, "You're just trying to help people. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do, even in business. I own a marketing firm that specializes in nonprofits and small businesses and startups. No money, no money, no money, because that's where my heart is. That's where my heart is.
Now, one of the things that we talked about earlier that we haven't shared with you is look for free money because free money is me money.
I know that's right. Free money is me money. I love that. There's so many grants that are out there. There are a lot of different companies that are offering grants. Do not be deterred by the number of applicants that you assume are going to apply. I know I have fallen victim to that. I saw that Visa had a grant, and I was like, then they said, we're going to award 4 individuals this grant. And I was like, 4 people worldwide? I might as well not apply. You know what I mean? But somebody is going to receive that money. And the same with Verizon. The same with, I know that Shea Moisture just had an opportunity that just closed for individuals that are doing something positive in their community. Just Google it. There are so many opportunities that are out there. Free money is me money. I'm not one for carrying on debt, especially for my business. But there are grant opportunities that are out there. I'm not saying that it's not a good idea. But I'm definitely saying, consult your financial advisor on how you should be able to, how you want to utilize the loan programs that are available. Especially whenever the PP3, or if you've already received it or if you've already applied, all of those things, see how that's going to work into your budget. Because again, these are uncertain times. So when will you be able to pay that back, and how, what percentage, and all of those things? Reggie knows the algorithm for that, but I don't. You see, he's a statistician and I'm not. You guys, thank you. I'm sorry, say again.
There's 3 things I want to say. Look,
Yes,
free
please.
money is great. Loans are, you need to really think about them. You need to think about, equity and, revenue shares, whether or not you're going to go out there. But if you're looking for equity, Lolita just tweeted today. Um, she asked a whole bunch of people who are making investments, tell us what stage you invest in, what you invest in, how big the checks are, and how to contact you. So she's very easy to find. I'm going to retweet her, so you can find me at Dr. Green. It's Dr.Green.power on Twitter. You can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm going to retweet it so that you can find that. And then in terms of loans, that's a real big personal decision because with loans, you have to pay back with certain type of certainty, and we don't have that. We don't have the certainty of when your business is going to be chugging along. So that, as she said, you need to consult your financial advisor. But with equity, that's supposed to be patient money. So you may get a check stroke for you. It's just now the terms are a lot more in the investor favor than they used to be.
Yeah, much more. And it seems so colorful right now because we see it all the time. It's in every advertisement on social media. It's everywhere. These are loan opportunities, but just be very careful, with those things, because again, we want to come out of this stronger, not in debt or indebted to any other individual. Anything else you would like to add? You guys asked some amazing questions. Anything else that you would like to add? Thank you, Dr. Nickel, for offering or suggesting to check out Spin, Candid, and Grant.gov. Please, you guys, make sure that you head over there. I will send an email out at the end of our conversation to all the individuals who registered with some of those points, those links that we know of. We've also added a resource page to our website. A colleague of mine was amazing in creating this amazing resource guide that goes through, if you're a nonprofit, if you're a small business, if you're an SMB, if you're looking for anything to do as a resource, there's a hyperlink there. It's probably about 6 to 8 pages full of resources. And that you can find at our website at jointeffortllc.com. It's in the Stimulus Sunday page. Easy, super easy to navigate, but I definitely encourage you to scroll through those to see if there's webinars there, there's loan applications there, there grant applications that are there. We are doing our very best to collect all information that we can pass back to you as much as possible. So thank you, Dr. Nichols, for suggesting that. We'll add that to that list as well. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us. I'm leaving last word with you, Reggie. This is shout out time. I love shout out Sundays. This is the time that you can say, follow me here. This is what I have going on. This is where you can find my next big project. What do we need to know? Tell us all the things.
Well, as we're sharing, we're building optimal power solutions on 1,000 hotels. That includes a hardware as a service strategy. So yeah, we're putting solar there, but we're also putting monitoring systems. They're ML enabled, so they'll develop algorithms. We've developed algorithms that give insights as to how to best spend your money. And then if you have IoT devices within your commercial enterprises, we have AI systems, bots that will control them to optimize your energy. And so our systems are going to end up helping to save 75 direct jobs for every 100 installations, and somewhere around 300 indirect jobs for every installation. And those 75 jobs are annually. So it's not just a one-time thing. And so the way that we help people to understand is that 1 million, let's say $100,000 of savings ends up at 1.2 million increase in enterprise value. So we're having a measured effect on what we're doing, and we took the time to quantify it so that people can understand. We're just not putting solar on your rooftop. Yeah, we are saving 550 tons of carbon dioxide per year for every installation on average. But we're in this to save jobs, to save money, increase value, and make a difference.
Wow.
And you have to think about that. And so, look, I'm out saving hotels, initially as our go-to-market strategy, but we're also building in Texas and Ghana. We're looking at a partnership in Kenya, and Haiti and Bermuda. So, look, make a difference where you are. Explore your core and know that you're more than your core. And that's what you're here for.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much. As always, you can follow me on every platform. On LinkedIn at SDon Stokes. On Instagram, you can follow Joint Effort at Joint Effort LLC. We're also on Twitter and Facebook at Joint Effort LLC. And then I have another podcast called The Failure Report, where I'm obsessed with failures. I love to hear stories of entrepreneurs and how they utilize their failures as a pivot to success. Our next season will be coming out in June, which we're really excited about it. We got about 5 episodes in before COVID hit, and we had to move our platforms to more of a digital conversation. But I'm excited about our next season. We have some amazing entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, and celebrities on deck for this season. So that's going to be amazing. You can follow all of those platforms again at The Failure Report, and on Twitter at Report Failure, because at The Failure Report was taken. Whoever you are out there, give me my handle. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you for everyone that is dropping their information in the chat box. We would love to follow you as well. You're a cyber community. We would like to follow you on LinkedIn. So please, while this is still rolling, take the time to be able to put that information in. We will be having Stimulus Sundays again next week, starting at 6 o'clock. We have a husband and wife duo. They have a nonprofit, more than 50 companies. He's helped them with their investments and how their growth plan. So his whole job is to tell us how to grow our business. And so we're super excited to have he and his wife online on our webinar next week. So please make sure you register, make sure you share, like, subscribe, and make sure you tell all your friends to join us on next week. Thank you guys again for being here with us. Thank you, Reginald, Dr. Parker, for being here as well and taking time out of your Sunday to join us. We thank you so much.
All right, you all take care. Thank you, Charles, and everybody, Eunice and Deidre. We'll be following you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great Sunday.